Hello, everyone. Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is Monday, Bank Holiday Monday over here in the UK. I hope you're having a very good long weekend if you're here in the UK. If you're anywhere else in the world, I hope you're having a good start to your week. Arsenal, of course, winning yesterday 4-0 against Ipswich. An absolute Sunday cruise it was. If only all games were like that and as comfortable as that. So we're going to talk about that in today's shows. Apologies, first of all. I know this is a little bit later than usual, this show. It wasn't planned, but something family-wise came up this morning. Nothing bad, nothing serious, but it's just something that meant that I had to go out, which I wasn't expecting. So I've now come back. Obviously, I'm here in my house. But yes, so that's why I'm recording a little bit later on today. And this is being published a little bit later on than it usually would. But I still wanted to make sure I got home in time to talk about yesterday's game because it was a nice win. It was 3 valuable points, 3 very important points for Arsenal in the race for their, well, I say race for the Champions League, but in their attempts to wrap up second spot sooner rather than later in the Premier League, just so they can put full focus on the Champions League, of course. Win on Wednesday night against Crystal Palace. And you would say with 4 games to go and potentially, depending on what Nottingham Forest do, a 6 or 7 point lead, you'd be pretty confident of Arsenal wrapping that up, even with a couple of tricky looking fixtures in those final games. So yeah, 4-0 yesterday at Ipswich. I think we're all expecting an Arsenal win. It would have been a big shock if it wasn't an Arsenal win, but it was even more comfortable than probably we were expecting. And as well, after the sort of excerpts of what went on Wednesday, you kind of wondered, was this going to be after the Lord's Med show type thing for Arsenal? Was this a good time for Ipswich to play Arsenal? But it absolutely wasn't. I thought we were brilliant for the first 35, basically until the red card, which completely changed the game. As a spectacle, I thought Arsenal were really, really good. They just absolutely went at Ipswich from the start. They pressed them. They kept them in their own half. Scored 2 through Trossard and through Martinelli. Could have scored a hell of a lot more. Saka didn't have his shooting boots on yesterday, and I just thought they were really good. Kieran McKenna talking afterwards said that first sort of 35 minutes was the best that they'd faced this season, quality-wise. And, it was just absolute men against boys type stuff. Like I said, 2-0 easily could have been more than that had Saka not had shooting boots on. Triple captained him and missed about 2 or 3 or 2 sitters, went close with another, had that assist taken off him for the first goal because Martin Odegaard got his studs to the ball. Yeah, not a good day to have Saka as your triple captain. But it was a really good performance from Arsenal. I loved the second goal, the move of it. Marino's little flick was superb. Martinelli, another goal for him. Trossard, good finish for the first one as well. Obviously, the red card changed the game as a spectacle, I think, because I think Ipswich mindset after that red card just completely changed. It was just full-on damage limitation after that. So whereas there was a bit more space for Arsenal to attack before that red card, as soon as the red card happened and they just dropped deep, then it was just defense against attack, low block against attack, and it was harder for Arsenal to get through. They still scored 2, obviously, in the second half. Another good goal, another good finish from Leandro Trossard. Both of those finishing going through defenders' legs, which always makes it hard for the goalkeeper. And Ranieri got the sort of deflected one late on. But yeah, it could have been more. It was just, you just don't get an easier day in the Premier League, I think, than what Arsenal had yesterday. And it was perfect after Madrid. As I said, you weren't sure what sort of response you were going to get after sort of the physical and mental drain that would have taken place after that game in Madrid. And you just wondered, were they going to be up for it? Were they going to be too tired? All that sort of stuff. But it was just perfect. Absolutely perfect. Apart from the Saka injury, of course, which forced him off early in the second half, which you did get a little bit nervy by. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But aside from that, it was just a perfect afternoon for Arsenal. I'm just looking at the stats there on the screen. I mean, when you look at that doesn't look like a Premier League game, does it? That looks like a cup game between a top Premier League side and a League One side, a League Two side, not an all Premier League affair. When you look at the stats, 24 shots for Arsenal, just 4 for Ipswich, not a single shot on target for Ipswich, 7 for Arsenal, 16 open play shots for Arsenal, just 1 open play shot for Ipswich, 75% possession, 760 passes to 258, field tilt 90% to 9.7. It was, as I said, it just felt more like a cup game. The golfing class between the sides just felt bigger than an all Premier League affair, and that just kind of sums up where the three relegated teams or will be relegated teams are. Obviously, Leicester went officially yesterday, but the other two are going to follow very, very quickly, and the gulf between them and the rest has just been so big. I mean, I swear, Tottenham and Man United, they're so lucky there's been three dreadful teams in the league this year, or they would be seriously facing up to the threat of relegation this season. But yeah, the three relegated teams just have not been good enough at all. We'll talk about the injury to Bukayo Saka. Obviously, the red card. It was a dreadful tackle. Absolutely dreadful tackle. It deserved a red card. Referee got it right. Delighted the VAR didn't overturn it. They couldn't overturn it. It was just, I said it in yesterday's show that I did after the game, the sort of live show that I did. That I just felt like he wanted to get off that pitch. I don't think you do a foul and a challenge like that if you really want to stay on the pitch, because you know you're not getting the ball. He kind of lost his head a little bit just before that in the build up to the second goal when he took out Trossard. And then for this one, he's nowhere near the ball. Saka's completely, between him and the ball. Saka's passed it already. And then to do a foul like that, I just think he wants to get off the pitch. I just think he doesn't want any more of Saka or Arsenal. He's just thought these lot are just far too good for me. I can't be bothered. I want to get off. I genuinely think that. And I know people are looking at it saying, oh, he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. It was, he was aggressive, but just overzealous and all that sort of stuff. I just look at that and think he meant it. He absolutely meant it. He meant to do Saka in that moment. Saka's so lucky when you look at it because his foot's planted. It could have been so much worse. I mean, you look at, there's a relief around Arsenal that it is not as bad as it could have been. Mikel was speaking afterwards about the challenge. He said, look, referee made a decision. That's clear. Bukayo was a bit sore, but it's nothing serious. So that's good. On whether he was worried about it, could have been a serious injury. He said, I do, or I was, especially with the numbers that we have right now. And especially when tackles are with your back to goal, because normally it's that moment when your foot is planted, your weight is there and you cannot really react to it. But he's fine. Obviously, when he went off yesterday, you saw Arsenal, the physios immediately sort of put the ice on the back of his ankle, around his Achilles. Because clearly it had swelled up. He came out after half time. It was that classic case of, I think probably at half time, he's like, no, I'm good. But then when you stand around or sit around in the changing room for 50 minutes and you come back out, it's just tightened up a lot and it's swelled up a lot. So they took him off early in the second half. But when he went over to do the celebrations at the end of the game, he didn't have the ice on the ankle anymore. And he seemed to be moving okay. There was a limp there, but you think, if there's any sort of doubt, then he won't be involved on Wednesday night. But you think in terms of the PSG game, which is clearly the most important game, he should be fine. And, Mikel was, you could just sense the relief around Arsenal. It was like, we've escaped what could have been a pretty serious incident there. And I just thought the way, I've forgotten his name now, the guy who sent off, Leif Davis, wasn't it? And I just thought the way he went off and the whole sort of apologies to the crowd. I mean, the Ipswich fans booing Saka for the rest of the game. I mean, what is going on there? I don't understand it. But they also gave Leif Davis a standing ovation as he went off. It's like, well, you just got yourself sent off. You're already 2-0 down. You're getting your arse's handed into you basically by a much better team, and you've just let us go down to 10 men for a stupid tackle that you didn't need to make. So why are you getting a standing ovation for that? And even the way Leif Davis went off and he was apologising to the fans, I just thought it was a really weird incident. I just think it's a player who'd lost his head, didn't want to be on the pitch anymore, and he got himself sent off. I really, really do. And it could have been so much worse for Arsenal, but thankfully it's not. The early signs are, and the word out of Arsenal is he's fine. He's okay. So we'll see if he's involved on Wednesday night. But in terms of the PSG game, I don't see any way that he's not going to be fine to start that game. So big relief when it comes to Bukayo Saka and that injury. On the performance, Mikel, absolutely delighted, obviously. He says, we're really happy with the performance. I think the first 35 minutes is one of the best 35 minutes we've played this season. At the back of the game against Madrid, we scored 2 goals. We could have had 3 or 4, to be fair. We really dominated the game. Very high intensity and understanding what we had to do today to win here. When they got the red card, the context of the game changed and we were in control, scored another 2 goals and made certain rotations. So overall, a very positive afternoon. And when you sort of go through my player ratings for the game, I gave Raya a 6. I know some people saying, why does he get 6? Why does he only get 6? Kept a clean sheet. And he did, I know, but I think I would have kept a clean sheet in that game. And that's no disservice to David Raya, but that was, he may as well, and I said this yesterday, just pulled up a deck chair and put it out in his penalty area. Because it wasn't even one of those games where, when he doesn't have much to do, but Arsenal get put under a little bit of pressure and crosses come in, and Raya's so good at coming out, claiming crosses, easing the pressure, starting attacks off. He didn't even have to do that yesterday. It was just basically, he was sunbathing for an hour. That's what he was doing. So that's why I gave him a 6. I started him on my 6, Didn't do anything to go up, didn't do anything to go down. So he gets a 6 for me. I gave all the defence apart from Saliba. I just thought Saliba was a little bit edgy or standoffish at times. And he didn't play badly by any means, but I just thought for me, again, he started as a 6, and I just don't think he did anything to really go above a 6. So I kept him at that number. The rest of them I gave 7s. Thought Kivior played really well. Looks really, he's in good form. You can see confidence levels is up with Kivior, which is great. So I gave him a 7. Brilliant to see Ben White back starting. I love that link up of Saka, Odegaard, and White. It's just a warm feeling, isn't it? It makes you feel content. It makes you feel safe when you got Ben White, Odegaard, and Saka together. There's just a chemistry there that just makes you feel good. And you could see just even with Odegaard's performance, who I thought was really good, Odegaard, just having those two back around him, the difference in what he's like. It's just Timber's brilliant, and he's one of Arsenal's players of the season. Could well be in for the running of player of the season. But I still love Ben White and what he brings to this Arsenal team when he's in it, which is great. And it's exactly what you want. 2 top quality players competing for the same position. Absolutely fantastic for Arsenal. So I gave him a 7, Kivior a 7. Zinchenko, perfect game for him, as I said yesterday. So much space, not under any pressure defensively, so he could just enjoy himself. He could revel in the space he was given, pick out passes, go forward in that inverted role. Thought it was a really good game for Zinchenko. So I gave him a 7. Declan Rice, I gave a 7, got the assist for Trossard's second. Odegaard, like I said, I just thought it was a really good. He pulled the strings all afternoon. Odegaard, Ipswich just had no answer to him. Thought he was great, and that link up down the right hand side was a real weapon for Arsenal. So gave him an 8. Marino, exceptional in the first half. Didn't have to do anywhere near as much in the second half, but I thought that first half performance when Arsenal were at their very best, Marino was at the heart of it. Brilliant assist for the second goal. And I just thought he had a really, really good game. And the longer the season's gone on, the more he's feeling at home. The more minutes he's getting, whether that be up front or in midfield, we're just seeing why Mikel Arteta wanted to sign Mikel Merino. And yeah, he was very, very good yesterday. So I gave him an 8. Saka and Martinelli gave 7s each. Saka obviously off day in front of goal, but in terms of his all-round play, Ipswich just could not deal with him. He was causing them all sorts of problems before he got assaulted and had to go off the pitch. Martinelli, another goal for him, which is great. Gave him a 7. Trossard, arguably Trossard's best performance of the season. I think man of the match for me, 2 goals. And I just loved his movement. There was a real fluidity there. That Arsenal were. It wasn't a case of Martinelli rigidly on the left, Saka rigidly on the right, and Trossard rigidly in the centre. They were all floating around, changing positions. As I said, there was a real fluidity to Arsenal's attack that you don't often see. Maybe that was because of the quality of the opposition, or maybe it was just because of the quality of Arsenal on the day. I don't know, but it was just it. I just really enjoyed the movement. I thought Trossard had a very, very good day. And if this is the team, which I suspect it might be, that we see line up in that first leg against PSG very, very soon, then, this will do Trossard a world of good playing in that central striker's role, hopefully get himself some confidence. It'll give Marino a real confidence boost back in his natural position to play like that. It's a good run out for Declan Rice playing in the 6th role, which he'll have to do against PSG. So all in all, it was a really good day for Arsenal. 3 very, very comfortable points, 4 goals, a clean sheet, and a pretty lucky escape when it comes to Bukayo Saka as well. Okay, moving on to some of your comments before we wrap this one up today. Dr. Funk and Punk says, in no way should Saka be played against Palace. Keep him rested for the game that counts. Yeah, I do agree with that. My only issue is he's my triple captain in my FPL team, and I really want him to get some points, which is purely selfish, I know. But if there is any doubt about Saka and his fitness and his ankle, then you do not let him anywhere near that pitch against Crystal Palace. It is all eyes on PSG, obviously. So we'll wait and see. I would suggest he probably won't play. He might be on the bench, but I would be surprised to see him start that game. Just doesn't feel like there is any reason to take any sort of unnecessary risk with him. Ethan came on, scored a goal yesterday, so he'll be biting at the bit to get chomping at the bit even to get another start and to sort of build on the goal that he scored yesterday. So yeah, I tend to agree with you there, Dr. Funky Punk, even though it's going to be an absolute hammer blow to my FPL team. And Points iGame says the build-up play for the Martinelli goal was beautiful. You can see Marino has lots of confidence at the moment. Yeah, it was a really, really good goal, that second goal. Really enjoyed it. Loved the flick from Marino. So many people, and I said this again yesterday, so many people say, well, he didn't mean it. I absolutely think he means that. I'm sure he does. He's such a clever player, Marino. He knew Martinelli was there. I just thought by his celebration, when you see the way he punches the air, I just think he's really happy with himself for doing that flick. And that's what he's celebrating. It's not celebrating a goal. I think he's celebrating himself in that moment, which made me think you definitely meant that. He saw the run, he'd seen it out the corner of the eye, he played the flick perfectly to Martinelli. And I think he was just really happy with himself, which we saw with that celebration. So, yeah, it was a lovely goal, brilliant build-up, and Marino exceptional in it. Sticking with Marino, Malcolm says, Marino has made himself undroppable now. I'd love to see him and Rice boss the midfield together next season. They would bring a ton of goals. Yeah, Declan Rice now. I saw Sam Dean at the Telegraph put a stat up. I'm just going to see if I can find it while I'm talking. But Declan Rice's sort of combined goal contributions now is he's not. I can't. There you go. He's up to 17 goals and assists in all competition this season now. Declan Rice, his most productive ever season in terms of goal involvements, which is really, really impressive, especially in a season where I think we all sort of accepted for the first half of it he wasn't at his best. Clearly, he's absolutely playing at the top of his level right now, but yeah, that's really promising. 17 goal involvements for Declan Rice in all competitions, and there's still 6 weeks or so to go of the season, so he could get close to 20, which would be really, really impressive, and that's something to build on next season. And you would think Marino as well, with what he's shown in the second half of the season, has got another gear potentially to go up to next season as well. Senga 1979 says Saka played on for about 30 minutes after that foul without any limitations. There's no way he has an injury other than some pain and maybe some swelling from the impact. When it comes to the Achilles heel, it's either a really serious injury where you need to be carried off, or it's a knock. Well, hopefully it is the latter, Senga 1979. And that certainly appears what it is. And as I said at the start, big, big relief around Arsenal that Bukayo Saka looks to be fine and will be fit for that game against PSG. So we've got a press conference tomorrow. It's a late one, 3:30 p.m. I think Mikel's due to speak tomorrow ahead of the game against Crystal Palace on Wednesday night. Once that's out the way, obviously no game at the weekend. It will be very much all eyes on PSG. What a massive, massive game that is going to be. But we do have one more Premier League fixture to go. So I'll be back in the morning to preview that Crystal Palace game. Then we've got the press conference later on in the afternoon. Have a great Monday, everyone. Enjoy the start to your week, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.